welcome back to the Conjure Corner here on YouTube. It's your girl, Hunty LaBelle Venus. I am your residential hoodoo voodoo priestess, and I am back today with some more tea. Before we go ahead and get started with today's reading, I want you all to make sure that you are hitting like, subscribe, notify, invite everybody to the channel, okay? Because this tea is too good to miss. One of my areas of expertise is cosmetic alchemy. So what that means is that I create work that targets and affects the five senses or helps align the chakra system. I make magical makeup, things along the lines of that, which are really great for conjuring in plain sight. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about what it is that I specialize in, especially as a hoodoo queen, come see me at botanicavenus.com, which is my spiritual store. I have a plethora of spiritual products, everything from money workings to protection work as well. So you definitely want to visit there. I also wanted to let you all know that I have the Conjure mentorship coming back in January. It starts January the 30th for those of you who are interested. A few other things before we go ahead and get started. I wanted to let you all know that I also have the Divine Feminine mentorship with my beautiful sister, Hunty Soleil, and that is going to be coming up on January the 15th. That mentorship will start on January the 15th. It's going to be an extremely beautiful experience. It's a very powerful mentorship program that we are both extremely passionate about. We're going to be teaching you essentially about sisterhood and about community, how to identify your wounds and how to heal them as well. So please join us in the Divine Feminine mentorship. The link is already circulating on social media. If you are also on the BSN Discord, you will be seeing flyers and getting notifications about the Divine Feminine mentorship as well. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into what this reading is really about. Today, we're going to be reading on Mr. Derrick Jaxn. I mean, for those of you who don't know who Derrick Jaxn is, good for you. Good for you, I guess. But essentially, so he's like this relationship expert. And I use the term expert loosely, like a relationship guru. And he really made it big on social media, you know, sitting in his car, squinting his eyes, telling lubricated lies, child. But nonetheless, okay, so Derrick Jaxn, you know, he's a relationship expert and he's a married man for now. So what the reading today is going to be on is about the fact that he is getting divorced, y'all. And so some of you may be asking, like, why is this a big deal? Well, let me fill you in. So why this is even significant on social media is because that's kind of how he got his name, is giving relationship advice and kind of inserting himself as an expert in that field. He's made millions of dollars. He even has books. He's taught classes. He's done seminars on relationships. Also, something that is extremely important to know is that he has been extremely open about his faith in Christianity. People associate this man with the term black men don't cheat. In fact, he's been associated with that a lot, but this man has indeed been caught cheating on his God-fearing wife, right? Something that's also important for you all to know is that she has caught him cheating in the past. You know, they publicly addressed it. He said that he wouldn't cheat again, but he did in fact, get caught cheating again. And I'm going to share a short clip of her cursing people who have negative things to say just merely a few days before he announced that he is divorcing her. So listen to this clip, my loves, and let me know what you all think. Okay, so I'm getting ready to start the clip now, but keep in mind that this was this man's wife. Like, she went on social media and made these claims. This is a video, but I'm going to let you listen to the sound clip. So here we go.
Person speaking against the names Danae Jaxn and Derrick Jaxn in mockery, accusations, slanders, and lies. May the mercies of God be withdrawn from you. May your husbands and wives become widows. Let your children become fatherless. Let your seed become vagabonds on the earth. Let the words of your mouth and your words of your hands be returned back to you. Let it go down your throat and choke you slowly until your days become few on the earth. The word of God says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. You've been warned. And if you want to know where that is.
So I'm going to stop there. Y'all, let's go ahead and start this reading. Okay, everyone. So before I go ahead and get started with the reading, I want to give you all my cash out once again. It is $Botanica Venus. If you all are interested in leaving a love donation, or if you feel led, feel free throughout the course of this reading, as well as if you would like personal readings by me, or if you are interested in getting your ancestral life path reading, which will give you a breakdown of your ancestral lineage, important message from your ancestors, a prayer and meditation regimen, and it will also include a spiritual bath as well. If you all are interested in booking that reading, make sure that you go ahead and visit botanicavenus.com. Both of these websites are great. They both have spiritual products on there by me, and you can also book private consultations. If you all have any questions about your individual spiritual regimen or any questions that you would like to ask me, we could definitely talk in the consultations as well, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see, I have already pulled cards for this first reading. And our very first question of the day is, what was the reason behind the split, right? Because we've seen issues with this couple in the past, or if you follow them, you know that he has been caught cheating before. And they've even done interviews kind of coming together as a united front about the cheating. So, you know, like, we kind of want to know why the split. So the very first three cards that I have here on the top indicate there really being a need to kind of break away. The reading itself, the energy on this is kind of very cold. Like, there's a lot of secrets in this relationship. I believe that there was a point in time where these two really did love each other. I think that there's still some love there, but there's a coldness there in the relationship currently. Like, I believe that this is Derrick's energy that I'm getting right here, who has kind of wanted to keep an open mind. You know, I actually wouldn't be surprised, you all, if like they've done spiritual work over their relationship, regardless of what they've kind of said in the media as far as like being holy and God this and Jesus that, etc., etc. Because I did let you all listen to the video clip where she was, you know, verbally cursing people. But I wouldn't be surprised if these two haven't actually had some type of spiritual work or cloaking done on their relationship, just due to the details getting out. Like, they don't want a lot of this information getting out. Like, there's been secrets and there's been things and there's been lies kind of from the beginning of this relationship, and it's just kind of time for everything to end. But what caused the split? So there's an energy of like really wanting to explore outside of the relationship, and he hasn't actually talked to her in full honest form about what he wants. Like, he hasn't actually been 100% honest about what he wanted from her, because he felt like this would be like an automatic shutdown to him. Like, she would have automatically said no. Or I do get that he has mentioned certain things in the past, and he immediately got chastised, you know, for saying these things. Like, he really feels stifled sexually, and he wants to find true love or passion, but this is more so of like, he wants to test the waters. He wants to explore. He really wants to see what else is out there for him, because and this is really his energy speaking. It's like more of him not feeling like this is the end all be all. He feels, y'all, it's kind of annoying, because he kind of feels, and excuse me if you hear me cough throughout the reading, y'all, I'm getting over being sick. But his energy is more or less like he feels like he's very special. He also knows that he can manipulate people. And he's finally to a point, because something that has been a concern from what I can see in this reading, there's a lot of things tied into it. There's a lot of legal things that have been tied into it, home, children, etc., etc., that have been tied into this relationship. So it's just been a long time of weighing out those options. Something that I will say is, like, I believe that this divorce has been going on before she even knew it. Like, I genuinely think that she's been in the dark about the fact that this man was actually going to not want to be with her anymore, and that caused some confusion for her. There's a lot of mixed emotions. Outside of the mixed emotions, like, there's just a lot of legal things that need to be taken care of. Like, something that has been a concern in consideration of this divorce has been legal assets. Now, she is trying her very best, and I think she will gain clarity. I see her absolutely gaining some level of clarity, or getting smart about the legalities or the legal things or the leases and the mortgages and the rent, the car note, the things of that nature, like whatever assets the couple shares as a whole. I see her getting and gaining confidence and clarity of those things in the future, and I see her being advised very very well by whatever team that she has. And there's going to be a certain area of time where she wants to get through this or move past this relationship, but she's going to struggle. This relationship, what I see is it just being really just ugly. There wasn't a lot of intimacy between the two. And I just don't mean like physical chemistry, but like true intimacy, romancing in the relationship for quite some time. And there's just been like this distant cold water there. There's like things that they have wanted to alchemize or create or bring to fruition in the relationship. It just did not happen. And I kind of feel like her head is spinning right now. Her world is kind of upside down. She feels like this is an area of territory where she is really unfamiliar in, and she kind of feels like some days, ever since that he made this announcement, she kind of feels like she's low-key going crazy. And the reading here talks about there being a little bit of there's a lot of weighing here. There's a lot of distance here. The fact that this has been so public has been something that has really hurt them. Not them, but her. This has been something that has really hurt her. You know that song, like, You Made a Fool of Me? It's something that comes to mind when looking at this reading. Like, she really feels like, you know, he made a fool of her, but she believed it. She was like fully bought into his story. Like, if you guys looked at the interview in the past where she supported him in his cheating scandal, one of the earlier times, she said, you know, hey, I stand by my man. That's my man. I'ma stand beside him. Okay. Whenever she came for it like that, like, she was truly bought in on the story. Like, she really believed, you know, like, this was something that we could work on. This was something that we could get past as a couple. But where they are right now, she is trying her best to be as smart as possible, and she's trying to see things logically, or as logically as she can. And I see her doing her best to, in the future, invest in individual business plans. And she wants to secure her own individual prosperity outside of the relationship. I see her becoming a student of entrepreneurship. She's becoming a student of her own money, her own finances within the home. Like, she's really she feels discouraged because like there's a lot that she has to learn. And also on both party side, like what I'm seeing is like as far as the split goes, like they're both weighing out and trying to consider what life looks like post split, what money looks like, what opportunity looks like post split. I'm seeing here like there being a battle, and I think that this is a battle on both parts, like as far as the split is concerned, of being tied to, or their worth being tied to monetary things. Derrick specifically is going to feel, or he's going to struggle with feeling less than, worthless, etc., because of the hits that he takes to his business and to his reputation. Like, he has made great strides in the past, I feel like, internally about tying his worth to other people's opinions. But this time he is definitely going to feel jaded by the type of people that quit messing with him, because there was a lot of people that genuinely believed in him and believed in his message. Now, this man will continue to go on to make money, but this is going to be a huge blow to the ego. There's people that still feel like, yeah, okay, he cheated and he might have messed up this particular relationship, right? This relationship wasn't for him. It didn't work. But they still feel like he has something to say. There's a lot of people out there that are part of his followers that feel like his words still have value to them. And they enjoyed his messages, whether he be faux or fake or fraud or the real deal. So he's still going to be disgraced, man, but he'll still have a following. People are still just going to tune in for whatever their personal reasons are. Can't talk. But as far as wifey, she's going to experience a type of loss. There's going to be blows to her confidence, and her just kind of feeling a little bit worthless. Like she brings a little bit less to the table than she's brought to the relationship previously. So she is going to have to go on this journey of like really finding herself prior to this relationship. They got into it. I just get this icky feeling, you all, like from the they got into it with the intention of being able, like they really thought that they could hold up lies. Like they thought that with all these other things on the table for them, that they could really just like hold up lies. Like Derrick in general, he's not like an honest person. And I feel like she might have known that, and she would have been fully willing to keep up this facade a lot longer. But I feel like the man is just tired. I mean, he sees the damage that the lying in this way is hurting said brand, said this, said that. There's a lot of things that are being hid from us and from the media between the two, because, you know, she's easily manipulated for some reason, and he doesn't want the embarrassment of these things coming out. But the two just weren't vibing no more. Like, I get this being more his energy than hers. She was unhappy, but she wasn't going to act on it. Like, it's not like she would have done anything. The reading talks about her behavior being somewhat sporadic, but her trying to get a little bit more insight on what to do next. And she wants to, and I feel like she's in the environment now because she's like forced to kind of move forward and forced to move on and do things herself. But it's really just going to kind of be a learning experience. But nonetheless, the reason for this split, it's just like these two were truly unequally yoked. Their heads was in two different places. There's a lot of lies, a lot of secrets, people lying about their wants and their needs, not being honest with each other about spiritually what they need and physically, sexually, just people lacking in the bedroom. Like this nigga, you know, he wasn't sexually satisfied all the way with her. And I also think that there's a lot of things, you know, involved in the split that she was completely oblivious to. So, nonetheless, that is question number one, you all. If I am reading, if I am spilling, definitely drop the pink flower emoji in the comments, okay? Show me some love. And I'm going to go ahead and get started on our next question. Okay, so here is our next question. And I feel like it's a very important question because, y'all, there have been several instances where women have spoke up and also have provided receipts about, this man cheating, okay? Or them being with him sexually, or them meeting up in Miami, etc., etc. And this has kind of been a pattern in the relationship as far as what's been reported on blogs and on social media, you guys. So I want to know, is the nigga ever gonna stop cheating? Is he ever going to stop cheating? And this is outside of, like his relationship with his current wife. Will this man just stop cheating? Long story short, before I get into the reading of this cards, no. Or at least no time soon. This is almost a hell no. But let me go ahead and kind of reading, some of the things that I'm seeing. So I do see this man really getting exhausted at some point, like literally getting burnt out on the hustle, the bustle, the constant lying. But something that was also, apparent, and this kind of came through via download as I was laying down the cards here, is, separating himself in a way, like separating or him pulling himself away distant wise from his wife is kind of it makes him feel a little bit better. It makes him feel a little bit more righteous, or a little bit in alignment in his life. The separation and the divorce for him is, that's a fix to the cheating. It's not really getting down to the bottom of it. In fact, when it comes to the divorce, it was almost like forced, because it's like, and I guess now these things are coming through in the second question. But what also triggered the divorce or the split or the actions leading up to that is because he rather do that than deal with what some of the other things that are going to be coming out. There's a lot that his wife was not privy to. And he was just like, like, this is just getting absolutely too bad. So he kind of felt like it would be less of a hit to his image if he would have just, okay, I'm divorced and I'm backing out, I'm quitting. At least my words will be true now. At least I'm not a cheater. And my advice to the public will kind of be a little bit more solid. So there's still that aspect or that energy of like public concern included here, but that's something that that's important to him. Like, in his head, it's not cheating if I get a divorce. That's a thing too. Like, if I get a divorce, then I could low-key kind of be single and do what I want. But at this point, it's just like getting exhausting, because outside of what we know, he knows a lot of the dirt that he's been doing. And there's a lot of dirt that he has been doing that hasn't actually been brought to the public forefront just yet. But at the same time, even though this man is exhausted, he is not quite ready to bring about changed behavior just yet. I don't know what it is with this man, y'all, but he, regardless of everything that he loses, he's still struggling to change. He's not quite ready to change. If you know Derrick Jaxn's zodiac sign, which would be really good for me to know. I didn't even think to look it up for him for some reason. If you know Derrick Jaxn's zodiac sign and his wife's, drop that below in the comments, because I have no idea. But there's some things that this man is just dealing with. Like, if you ever seen the movie Life, the character can't get right. That's this nigga. When it comes to as far as like cheating, etc., and like being faithful, it's almost just like he can't do it. And that's how he feels, though. He's just like, I can't do it, okay? He, regardless of what this is going to cost him, is the thing. Especially as far as like relationships. He's going to lose greatly in terms of like adoration, like people that adore him and admire him. I'm not saying like, oh, his whole social media following is going to go, but there's people that have given this man second chance. I'm talking about people that he knows in real life that have given this man second chances. And he's just kind of blocked off from that, right? Like, I see him literally have already closed down some of those doors and closed off some of those feelings for people who were initially rooting for him. And then just kind of like losing hope at this point. Possible, there are things that people had on the table for him, like business deal wise, like people wanted to collaborate with him or get in. I'm hearing books, like there's like book deals or just like people wanting to hear him speak and stuff, and that's going to be temporarily postponed because a lot of people are now going to see that in the forefront what they're seeing is that he's more of a manipulator, and he uses his smart intellect and his intuition and these narcissistic manipulation tactics to cheat. Okay, so now there's a lot actually more coming through that I'm getting. So not only does he use his manipulation tactics to cheat in his relationship, which is why he just has trouble with it, but also getting that it's just something like generational for this man. A part of his facade to be, oh, the perfect man, or to be quote unquote God-fearing and just live this life of perfect light and no dark, stems from his childhood traumas. And like I said earlier in his reading, like something's off with him. Like he's perfectly okay with putting up facades, and it's kind of unclear as to where he gets that from. Like he's comfortable, it has been comfortable previously living lies, so it's kind of unclear of like where he got that from, or that need to keep up perfectionism or a public persona, or to really, you know, care about what other people think. But somewhere along the lines of his life, he really fell into the pattern of just pure manipulation, pure lying. His wife he's just a dishonest person in general. Like his wife isn't the only one he's lying to. The girls that he's dating, he's lying to them about things as well. Like not even related. Like he's just a habitual, allegedly, you guys, allegedly, but he's just a habitual liar. And something that's coming up is just like he uses this smart intellect, his way with words. This man has studied women before. He has studied women and kind of figured out what women like, what's trending. He does a lot of research, which would make sense, right? Because he's a relationship guru, right? But he's done a lot of research on relationships, but he literally targets Black women for some reason, and he kind of figures out exactly what it is and what it is that they like, and he kind of targets that. I see him being someone who comes to, there's going to be like a day of reckoning for him, and it's just going to wreak havoc for him because there's more and more stuff that's still going to come to the light. But I see him coming to a certain level of awareness at one point, but it's still not enough to, you know, answer the question, right? Is he going to stop cheating? Well, he's starting to connect the dots about why he is the way that he is. Somewhat, there's still somewhat of a lack of authenticity that I am picking up in the reading that he struggles with very deeply. Like, as far as doing the proper soul search and the proper inner work, there's issues there. He's like the counselor that won't go to counseling. And I mean that by like, he's like the counselor or the expert that doesn't want to deal with their own internal issues. He doesn't want to address where these behaviors are coming from for him. And as of right now, he just really like, I'd rather not break them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm having fun. So long story short, this man is not about to stop cheating. at least in the foreseeable future that I can see, he's still going to use his intellect and his wit to kind of get what he wants in the dating area. And he's just going to play the fool even at the cost of the children, like even at the cost of the legacy. It's almost just like for him, it's like this thing that he just can't stop doing. It reminds me this might even be like this might be a dramatic comparison, but he reminds me to like those people, they'd be like, oh, I can't stop killing, or if you watch like true crime stories and stuff like that, oh, I couldn't control it. For him, this is almost like uncontrollable urge, that he just rather not fight with it anymore. And that also contributed to the divorce. It was just like, okay, well, shoot. Hey, all this stuff, what I'm saying? Like, it's like, shoot, all this stuff is coming up. There's going to be more things are coming up. And you'd rather just not be there to deal with it up front as well. So there's just like a lack of accountability. There's so many things, you guys, coming up in these readings. Like, there's a lack of accountability. There's a little bit of running. There's a little bit of being exhausted about lying. But, it's almost like moving the lies around, right? Because even though I'm leaving this relationship, I'm not necessarily going to be responsible for this relationship anymore, but I am also going to continue to lie. So, that is the read for that one, you all. Tap in, make sure that you hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'm moving on to the next question. Okay, you all. So here's our next question. And this has been kind of, a lot of conversation that I've been seeing on social media. People are kind of wondering if she is genuinely maybe as naive as she is showing up presently, or some people may think that she may be a few sandwiches short of a picnic, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. A lot of people are just kind of wondering, like, yo, what's up with her? Something seems off. Is she brainwashed? Etc., etc. So I decided to ask Spirit, right? I'm asking the ancestors, what's up with her? Like, is she brainwashed? Is she kind of, like out of the loop? Where is that coming from, right? Because her video, especially of her cursing people, for speaking negatively about her relationship, and then also sometimes how she has showed up to interviews, has definitely sparked a lot of controversy. So this is kind of me asking two questions in one. As you can see right here in the lower corner, I did go ahead and pull a few cards to see, like, how can she care for herself during this time? So we've got clear your energy, we've got use your hands, and then time alone. So something that's going to be very important for her right now as far as self-care is concerned throughout this divorce and kind of what's been going on in the media is it would do her good to do something that makes her feel good. She literally needs to, at some point, cleanse her energy. As some of us spiritualists talk about, this could be, going out in nature. This could be her literally going down to the river. This could be her saging, cleansing. A change of environment would actually be really good for this woman at this time. Something that's going to get her outside and get her to relax, get her to get some fresh air. She needs something that's going to kind of occupy her time, but in a positive way. During this time, I really wouldn't recommend her spending too much time alone, just simply because, like, the energy that I'm getting is kind of like an idle mind is the devil's playground. Like, she really needs something else to do outside of the mundane tasks that she has in her life. She really needs somebody to spend positive time with her in a way that's not really detrimental. Like, she really needs a break. I'm getting, especially with that, use your hands, right? Like, she needs to be able to do something that keeps her busy, but not the things that she normally does, because that's just going to continue to trigger the type of memories and, the type of not so great feelings that she's experiencing right now. So that's it for the self-care portion. Like, those are the things right now that she could really do to kind of care for herself. So let's get into it, okay? So, like I said, is she brainwashed? Like, what's going on there? So what I'm kind of seeing in this reading, I do see that, she is a little off. But I'm not laughing at that, y'all. But it's like she's a little off in the sense of like there's a certain level of naivety that she has, or she's extremely naive in a way, and it's just because like for some reason I don't necessarily know her past, but she's kind of been guarded from a lot, and there's a lot of things that she's been intentionally protected from. So yeah, there's like a little bit, and I feel like brainwashing is so heavy of a term. There's like a little bit of brainwashing there. Like she's literally fallen into the patterns of self-denial. Self-denial is very strong for this lady. She deludes herself with what she wants her reality to actually look like sometimes instead of what it actually is, and this has caused her a lot of stress. Like there's a lot of the energy of like turning the other cheek, but all the time. One thing that we know in life is that there needs to be a balance of everything, but in her particular case, like she's literally become a slave to denial, just being in pure denial about the things, because she almost it's like, no, I know that that's not it. I know for a certain. I literally hear her talking to herself like that sometimes, like, oh, I know that this is definitely not the case, not me, no. Instead of actually seeing the things, like, in fact, one of the affirmations on this card here at the bottom is, I see the truth in this ending. And that's just something that she has not come to yet, especially given the surrounding cards here. Like she just is really in denial about a lot, and she spent a lot of time in seclusion. She could really use more of a community in her circle. Like something that I am seeing is like her struggling to utilize the people that are there, but she's also caught. Yes, okay, that's exactly what I'm seeing here, is like she has also cut ties. That is where a part of this is coming from. So because she has cut ties due to the nature of her delusion, and also due to the nature of her relationship and people being concerned about how she's being treated in the relationship, she has cut ties with a lot of people previously, and that gives her more time to further these delusions about what she thinks that her life has been or what she wants her life to be. And this has literally outright been a huge hindrance to her as far as moving forward to reach the goals and the plans and the things that she has set for herself now. I think what I see here is very interesting, you all. I do see her coming to a certain point of realization, like, oh, okay, like I better get with it, right? Like I better get with it. As far as like my understanding, I do see her, which this is interesting because it does also further kind of what I've seen in the one of her previous questions, is like I do see the wife moving forward on to different things, and also prioritizing actually moving forward once she kind of gets a grip of like, hey, this is in my path, this is what's happening right now. And yeah, I see her. Okay, so this also backs up, like there's going to be something that she does actually pour her time and her energy into as far as finances are concerned. Like there's at some point she's going to start looking into long-term investments, long-term stability, long-term financial planning for herself and for her posterity. And she's going to put a lot of attention into that. But like I said, like there's still going to be a period where she does feel restricted, because she feels like there's just going to be things that pop up that hinder her. Something that also just became clear between this question and one of her previous questions is that something that's going to trouble this woman, I don't know if you all remember, but when I brought up worthiness or self-worth, something that's going to trouble her is money. Like she's going to be worried about finding, and she's going to feel jaded by the fact that she doesn't have or make as much as her husband does. This woman is going to come to a point where I don't see her getting mad and or bitter yet in this reading, but there's going to come a certain level or a certain time where she realizes, like, damn, I've been manipulated. There's going to come a time where she realizes where he plays into her weaknesses or where her blind spots are kind of highlighted to her. I don't see her, like I said, I don't see her becoming mad or angry yet because of these things, but I see her struggling and being like, damn, this man actually has manipulated me. He does play to my weaknesses, and her genuinely not knowing how to feel about that. I see her grappling with that fact a little bit later. She's still going to struggle with, for some reason, I see her struggling with needing to be quiet due to her own personal beliefs, or I think that there may even be a time where she speaks out and kind of lashes out, but not in the way a lot of people would expect her to lash out, or a way that people would expect her to respond to the situation. Okay, y'all, so that is the reading for that particular question. I'm going to go ahead and ask one more question for the night. So if this reading is giving what it's supposed to give, as always, show me love in the comments and make sure that you are hitting that like button on your way in. Let's get into the next question. Here is our last question for everyone. So I think that it is only right that I ask this question. There have been many women who have come forward saying that they have slept with this man, they've had sex with this man, etc., etc. And I think it's only right if we ask, with all of these allegations coming forward, if this man has, given his wife anything. Like, has his wife had any STDs? How has her body been affected by these allegations of this man cheating, right? There's also been receipts provided that he has slept with other women. So the information that I will give you as far as what I see in this reading is allegedly, for the record, okay? Is alleged, okay? So I think I might actually ask just 2 questions just to kind of wrap up our reading for today, you all. And what I'm seeing as, has this man given her anything? How has her body responded? So what this reading talks about is, yes, her body has reacted to him sleeping. Now, I know that this was indirectly answered because, something that I'm seeing here is that her body has tried to tell her that this man was cheating on her at one point. Whether or not she was intuitive enough to listen to her body is one of the questions, but she has had feelings or inklings prior to some of these cheating allegations coming out that he has stepped out on her in one way or another. I think that previously, prior to like one of the earlier cheating incidents, I think that she didn't have the confirmation that she needed, but she also deludes herself a lot. Like, she talks herself out of knowing what it is, you know what I'm saying, or seeing, like, people could literally come to her and be like, hey, this is what it is. She'll delude herself in a sense away from what the actual truth is. So there have been things that have happened with her body that she has blatantly ignored. Like, something that's coming up is like, she has experienced issues with her pH being out of balance. She has had bacterial vaginosis, allegedly. Things like that, that have come up for her previously that she's kind of battled against. They talk, kind of went back and forth on it. I'm getting him really not being completely honest, but part of the reason why she didn't act off of what was going on with her body a lot sooner is because first of all, there's like a deep issue that I'm picking up just now in this question about self-worth. Like her being like, well, this is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do because I married this person. Like she really carries a lot of responsibility, but not necessarily in tune with what she needs and safeguarding herself. In fact, this, you know, things like her pH being off or the bacterial vaginosis, etc., have actually kept her up at night, like worrying, like, okay, like what's the deal? Like where is all this conflict and things like that coming from? Like there's been a point, you all, where she's kind of gotten tired of some of this and her having to repose herself and get herself together for the future and just kind of being like, okay, you know, like I really see her struggling with delusion and trying to make sense of what was brought home to her, like, and really being like in her head like, but he loves me, and really being torn on that. For some reason, I really see her struggling to have the confidence to talk to her partner about some of the things that she's been experiencing, like with her body. Like it, long story short, yes, he has brought stuff home to her, like absolutely, but it's so buried in delusion that it's almost not as impactful or as important to her as you would think that it should be, because she has been so deep and so far in the delusions of what she wants and what she thinks. Like I kid you not, you guys, like this lady has had internal battles that she's literally like talked herself out of until she feels, oh, I got the point. Well, excuse me, I had the energy to kind of to face these things, or I have the energy to move past these, but it's not in a way that's productive or healthy for her. It's really just her deeply alluding herself to the severity of the situation. Something I'm hearing right now is it's almost like a trauma response for her to have to actually look at these things like, oh my God, this happened to me. This man, this man that I love, that I trust, and that I married has done this to me. And for her, it is more, or excuse me, or it is better for her to lie to herself and ignore the situation than to actually deal with the feelings of what that feels like for her to have experienced that. So absolutely. And if she were to sit with her feelings at any point, she will understand and feel, she would have to feel the feelings of how devastating that was for her to have to do that. Like I see her, you know, still struggling to confront allegedly what this man has done in that sector. So I think that answers our question. I ain't trying to get too deep into that and upset anyone. I don't want that this, you know, particular question to be a trigger. So I'm definitely going to move on and sum up something that I already think that we know, y'all. Okay. Well, actually, no, I'm switching it up last minute. I was going to ask how she feels, and I think we kind of know how she feels. So let's ask, how does Derrick Jaxn actually feel right now about their divorce? Let's see what Spirit has to say. Like, how does he feel about the split? And y'all, this reading is really tiptoeing on the iceberg of just like some of the questions that I had. It's just going a little bit longer. So I do have more questions to ask. There may be a part 2. I don't know. We'll see. So how does Derrick Jaxn feel about the divorce currently? Let's see, Spirit. See how this man feels. Oh Lord, this is annoying. I should have just stopped, y'all, because this is hella annoying. I'm irritated with him right now. But it is what it is. So let's go ahead and wrap up today's reading. This man is a pure narcissist, okay? He feels, first of all, like he's fighting or what's right for him, which is cool, great, I love it, okay? He feels like he's fighting for the things that are important for him as far as his career, the next move of his life. He's like literally ready for what or he perceives that people are going to throw at him. He does recognize the fact that he is going to lose certain connections and certain relationships and things of that nature, but he is prepared to what he feels like alchemize that and create something new, move forward, create new relationships. He kind of feels like, it's like no use of playing the victim. He feels like he is a true visionary, and he feels like he does have people that are in his corner that are going to support him in moving forward. However, he does understand that he's taking a huge gamble right now by even just simply putting in that divorce request. Like, I think that there's a part of him that's still like, ooh, like he went back and forth on it. Like if he should not get divorced or if he should stay, just purely out of uncertainty of how things would play out. But like he feels like he's ready to go to war because he feels like a war is on the horizons for him. Like he feels like there's a lot of things that are going to come up for him, especially other allegations that are going to be coming to light. We can definitely expect some more things coming into the media for Mr. Derrick Jaxn, if not by the end of the year, but in the year of 2023. More allegations are going to come to light for him, but he knows it too. And so he's like basically preparing himself to kind of deal with those things. Surprising part about this very last question that I asked is not simply, I'm not getting it. He's not worried about love. He's not worried about how she doing. He's literally worried about other things right now in relation to the split. So I do find this very interesting because, sometimes, people think about when you ask about, how they feel about the divorce, you're going to maybe find some type of emotions there surrounding the actual divorce or the relationship, but in his reading, it's not like that. So take what you will, take it with a grain of salt, you all. And that is what I have for our very last question. I would like to end this reading letting you all know that, of course, always come book with botanicavenus.com. Please remember that I also have the Conjure mentorship coming up where I teach you authentic and powerful hoodoo. I will be teaching you classes on the law of sympathetic magic. We're going to be working closely with your ancestors. We'll be talking about the crossroads. I'll be sharing a little bit of information about the spirits that I work with in Haitian Vodou. So please join the Conjure mentorship starting January the 30th. And if you're interested, the Divine Feminine mentorship featuring Hunsi Soleil is also coming up on January the 15th, you all, okay? So this is the end. Thank you all so much for joining. And as always, I am your reader for today, Hunsi LaBelle Venus. You all take care.